Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for the 11th of May. I thought today I'd start with the stocks because obviously they're driving the indices and we get some sort of perspective on those, and then we can have a look at the indices, so a bit of a backwards start today. So with Tesla here, there's been a couple of stocks that have been sort of bearish, leading the bearish charge, like Tesla. There's some stocks like Amazon that have just sort of topped out a little, a good few days ago, and so on. So yeah, I just want to get these into perspective. So with Tesla here, and I won't go into the tick charts today because I just really want to talk about the sort of bigger picture, if that's okay. So with Tesla, we noted that we had 5 waves down here for wave A. It could have been counted bullish as well in 3 waves, but the thing was the wave A here was only in 3 waves, so it really made this an ABC correction. And what I was waiting for, you may have a short position above the 650, but we're also definitely looking for a short on the breach of the 650 as well. So you should be short in this. And even on this count, it should take us down to 500. So it should take us down below wave A here. And the reason for that is because this move here is in 3 waves. It's corrective. Okay, so that should just work lower. So just keep feeding this beast on the downside. The other point here too, I think, I'm not so sure about this wave 4, by the way, for Tesla. So let me just check here. Right, this was the other one. So from these lows way down here yonder, it's pretty simple, sort of 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and going up for 5 here. So it could also come a lot lower as well. So it could come down to the 400 area here. This tag here is really just the same length as wave A here in this, but it may be longer. There's normally equality between wave A and C, but it could be an extra 60% on that. So this is the 61.8% retracement level from down here. So that's all pretty sort of straightforward in that regard. So yeah, a sort of strong move down in that way. So when by this Tesla by itself as an isolated event it is what it is, but grouped with other markets that are topping and turning, because they don't all do the same thing at once until the weight of the boat tips over, So the Facebook here as well, we'd been looking at this as wave 3, 4, and 5 to the upside. So if there may not be a top in here, it may just hug to this here. We'll just check the weekly chart. I haven't updated the weekly chart for so long. That's not much chop, is it? But either way you look at it, if that is a top in play here, then we would expect it at minimum to come back to this wave 4, if not further. Amazon, also we've been counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 5. There was a possibility that we could have all of this all up here for wave 1 and coming back for wave 2. A little bit unlikely now. We were sort of playing with that. It's right on the 61.8%. So if it moves through that to a point, then it's going. It will move out. But this also would come much lower than this as well. So maybe just have a look on the weekly chart here for this. Okay, well, I haven't updated it, but still. So there's a couple of different ways we could look at this. We could look at this 5 waves up here as wave 1 here, and then an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, all of wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 here. So if that's the case, there's, if this is not 1 and 2 over here, well then there's potential for this to come much further down. So, as I've been told, that Bezos has been sold, over $4 billion worth of stock. I mean, that's going to play out on the market. But this is definitely a wave 4 through here. So even if you look at this as 1 and 2 over here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here, we've got to be down here somewhere for this. So I wouldn't be holding any of these stocks, put it that way, on the long side. Alphabet's here, if we take it from the low here, we can look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then a nice sort of 5 waves up here. So we've had a few we've traded through up here. We had another little long position in here that just got stopped out, but overall we've done quite well on this. But at the same time, if like, I don't want to put a panic button in anybody, but if that is the top there, and it counts quite nicely as 5 waves to that point, well then we should be back at 2000 here for this. But we're in the very early stages of this, so I don't think there's not a need to panic, but it certainly raises a few flags. That's what I just really wanted to put through today for this. The Apple really sort of hasn't changed. Here we've been looking at this here as a top in play here with an A wave and an ABC for the B wave, and and down for the C wave here. So that if it gets under the 2 here, then it's going to be pulled down. It's likely to be pulled down to the 100 in that space. So yeah, you need to be short in this as well. Because we're waiting really for the 130 there to become the retested resistance, and you can see that, and what I mean about that, you can see how it's come back and retested, and then it's taken the lows out here. So on the bearish side of things, we'll start looking at that. It's a bit like this here. We normally look at the classic trading levels pattern on the long side. Here we're looking at the short side. So if this is the 130 across here, we've seen the market retest it, and then breaking, this many roads to Rome, but you could move into this low to this low to this low, and so on. And there's different variations of this, but the idea really is quite simple, is to put the level in, the price level in, and then just sort of observe it changing from support to resistance. It's migrating from one side to the other. Such as we can start looking at all of those if we're moving into into the bearish side, and the same with Square as well. The interesting thing about Square is that this move down through here is in 3 waves, so an A and a B and a C wave. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the wave A, and then the B and the C wave here. So because that's in 3 waves, then this must be a corrective move here for this particular stock. So it can make a new high here. So we need to find more stocks that we can confirm as being in a corrective pattern, rather than a top in play and moving down. I mean, Tesla's the same as well. It's counting 5 waves down, so that, that 5 waves down in Tesla could be counted, as a wave 1 really, but I've got it as a wave A, but still, and that's just an Australian stock, so that's that. So with the S&P, we can look at it in 2 different ways. So one way is that we can look at it like this here, with wave 1 being here and wave 2 being here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in here, and then going up for wave 5 here, which is a little bit sort of on the short side here. You'd think this would be 1 and 2 here, but then we've got 3 and 4 and 5, so it really hasn't finished off very well. But I know that stocks, that indices, you know, don't always finish off the way that you want them to, because they're really just, you know, a weighted index of the stock, you know, so it's like the boat tipping over, so to speak, you know. So in this case here, we could have this as wave 1 here and 2 here, and then 3 going up here, such. Let's squash this up a bit. But the problem with this is that the third wave is actually smaller than in length going up than the first wave. So that would make, if the third wave was, if this is the third top of a third wave and we're going back for a fourth wave here, then the fifth wave here is going to be shorter than the third wave here. So that would take us up to anywhere from 4.4 to 4.6, I'd say, somewhere in that space. It needs to be shorter. Can't go much higher than that. That's about the same length, or maybe a tad more. So the other count that I've been looking at, well, that I've had from day dot, from the beginning, I would have to make a bit of a change on this. The change that I'd make, I'd have to put these at intermediate degree, so intermediate wave 1, so the next level up basically. But the point being is that from this COVID low here, I've just been counting 5 waves up, and it's been a tricky count, all of this, and there's a lot of Elliott people that have got different counts, so it's very difficult. You think they would all have the same damn count, wouldn't you? That would make things a bit easier. You know, maybe some good heads should actually get together and discuss these things a bit more, rather than having sort of everybody, you know, individual people doing them. That wouldn't be such a bad idea. But this is the way I've counted it from the beginning, basically, and it's just, you know, there's problems with it. Like wave 1 is really quite small compared to wave 5, but I've sort of seen it growing in that sort of sense. So 1 and 2. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 the third, the fourth here, and then 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 the third, the fourth, and then we get up into this space here. So 1 and 2, and this wave 3 and 4 is the one that we've got on our website. We can have a look at that in a little bit more detail, which would be this one here. So it's just playing it out here as the triangle pattern. So wave 3 here with an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave, and an E wave here, and then pushing up. So we've got 5 waves in here. So what I wanted to say about this is that, look, maybe we're panicking over nothing. Once this 5 waves here, well, it already has now taken over the top, because you could count it as 1 here and 2 here, which I was on another chart. So 1 and 2 and going up for 3 here. But coming back for 4, it's overlap wave 1, so that's no good. We could count it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 to the upside. That's also possible as well. But from that low to that high here, if we looked at that as being wave 1 here and wave 2 being down here, we wouldn't want to see it coming too much further down, would we? And if it does come down here further and takes that low out here, well, then that would be a confirmation that that top there would be in place. So the question we need to ask is, this top here, is it wave 3 or is it wave 5? That's the overall arching question with all of this. So I thought we'd have a bit more time before this actually rolled over. So I was going to start on that shortly, as I'd mentioned, because I was looking for this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moving up here. But it looks like the triangle pattern is the better fit. So yeah, so these are the questions that we've got to ask ourselves. So I need to look through the market and find evidence of stocks that could be in a 4th wave rather than having a 5th wave top in. The only one I saw in our little bunch here was Square and Google. So we need to check on all of those. So also in a nutshell as well is that, I mean, yeah, it was interesting to see. I mean, I've mentioned this before. I'll just bring it up here. This is Bitcoin here. So with Bitcoin, I'd also been tracking a top being in place with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming down. So this sort of brings us into the same like sell-off for all of those markets in a way. Ethereum would be the same as well. But yeah, so just be a little bit careful because they're all confirming that there as well. But we'll look at that in a bit more detail. I've looked at the stock in the Bitcoin thing before as well, and there's been, there does seem to be, it's just money, isn't it? I mean, anything that moves we're betting on, and we're just looking for the fastest horse in the race, so to speak. So yeah, so there must be some other thing governing all of this anyway. So look, the on this smaller degree here, the NASDAQ would be the same as well. We're looking at this as wave 4 here, as wave 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 and 5. Now that's a little bit small for wave 5, you may say, and I agree with you in that case. I won't go into the intraday. We can look at that tomorrow. But if this top here gets taken out here, I don't know if that's a straight line, but it's pretty close enough. Once that's breached there, then we'd have to call that wave 5, that smaller new high in place there. Otherwise, we could probably call this, we could probably look at it. I don't know, it wasn't that one. Maybe this one, sorry about that. Yeah, we may look at it. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. It doesn't really matter that much, but an A wave here, an ABC for the B wave here, and down for the C wave here. It's not that silly, really, when you think of Tesla and Apple, because they're going through an ABC as well. So that's possible. So we'll just keep an eye on that. We'll keep it way in the background, and it may not be the case, but yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there just to have a discussion on. But yeah, overall, that's the NASDAQ's obviously doing the same thing as well. So I'll leave it at that. What we can do in terms of shorting these markets, what we would need to do is we would need to see an impulse wave to the downside. So we can every trend of every degree's got a beginning, a middle, and end. So this would be the beginning here. This is the center of the trend, all of this, and then there'll be the center of the center, and then we need the other side as well. So it would be something like, if I could just draw this down a bit here, that would be down for 1 here, back for 2 here, and then we're going down for the third wave. You can see it's probably slowing down now, so we'll take it a bit further here. Then we'd see a 4th wave and then a 5th wave coming down here. So we'd get that, and then we're going to get some sort of rally here. So it's this rally that we really want to short once we get an understanding of that. So, and because if we get 5 waves here, we'll get an ABC pattern, and then we'll be coming down again because we've got 5 here. That means we'll get another 5 over here. We're getting 5 here. If we get 5 here, which is in the opposite direction of the trend here, that's why we'd get a correction and then another 5 down. So, yeah, we can look to short that. So that will take about a session to sort out. So we'll start looking for those short positions tomorrow on that. Yeah, we need to confirm. We don't want to go short just here. It won't work for us. We'll just get trapped. So, yeah, just to recap a little bit, we need to work out if we've got a wave 3 top here or a wave 5 top. That's the main thing. The second thing is that we can see from Tesla and Apple and so on that the markets have got a fair way to go down. So we need to start looking on the short side. The short side would be that we need to see because we're at this stage now. We need to get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down here. Then we need to get the corrective move here and then short again. Now, I also need to say too that sometimes it's a bit difficult for this. So let's just say that we get 5 waves down. Let's also say that you can't recognize this wave 4 and wave 5 here for this. But what you could recognize is a move upwards. Right, so when we do get that move upwards, it can go up to 61.8%. It may go to 40% depending on the weight there, but you will have that low there. So we could probably say, looking at the size of wave 1 here, and I can see that this has got a beginning, a middle, and an end here. So it will probably find support in group 2 here, 65, 72, and 80, and then have a rally back to retest the 200. How high will that go above that? I don't know, but it does leave this down here at that point. It will leave that. So any of that rally here, and it also, this rally should be quite simple. It should also just be on a tick chart, because it will be because this will be wave 1 down here and wave 2 here. That will leave this as a zigzag pattern, which for wave 2, which a zigzag pattern is just a 5. I'm just enlarging it here, a 5, 3, 5 pattern. Because a lot of traders, or new to medium traders, tend to pick a side with the markets. They're either they think they're good on the bullish side, or they prefer the bearish side of the market. So they kind of one or the other. You need to get to a state where it doesn't really matter which is which and which you are. It's you need to treat them both. You have the same emotion, which is pretty low between both of them. So you just need to be a bit sort of robotic about these things. Yeah, so, and just enlarging that, we can, once those first 5 waves come in, because you may not sometimes you know what's going on, or sometimes you don't. So you may recognize the first 5 and you go, oh, okay, I know what's going on now. And then the second 5 come in, but you can't figure out the 4th wave or something or other, or will there be another one, and you're trying to short up here and stuff. So just this simple thing of taking the bottom, second, and dropping through there and taking the first 5 waves out would be the way to go. Yeah, and also too, when you've got an angle here, we still treat these things the same as the trading levels here as well. So you'll have the arrival, the reaction, and the market will go through it, come back and test it, and go back again. Sometimes they can have a second test, so just got to be careful about that with your stop. That's all, just leave the stop out of the way. But migrating from one side to the other gives you an opportunity to to build positions in around this. And there's no rules. You could add coming down into the level because you know where you are in the structure, and then you could, when you feel a bit safer, you can add some on the other side, on these lows here for that, So there's no rules. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you know what you're doing. So, yeah, look, that's it in a nutshell. We've got the stocks that are driving us, and we're going to be there for a while. I mean, even if I just come back to Apple for a moment here, if you count the days in wave A here, well, that's going to be roughly the same in wave C here. In fact, wave A is normally quite sharp and simple. So wave C over here could be quite a bit longer, depending on how long wave 4 takes within this 5-wave structure coming down here. So you can see that we're going to be, you can see we're going to be here for a while if this is going to be the case. Yeah, okay, I'll leave it at that. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.